What's up, you guys? It's your boy Miguel here to give you your daily dose of radiation. In today's video, we are covering different ways X-ray techs piss off nurses. So, if you are new to the world of radiology or new to my channel, I do X-rays at a Trauma 3 ER. I've been doing it for over 4 years now, and my lady's a nurse. She's been doing it for like over 8 years, so you best believe every single day I get told how my people, my team, makes her job harder than it's supposedly her. So, some of the more common things that we experience that we pissed off the nurses, and once again, it all kind of depends on the nurses you have. Some nurses are pretty chill, other nurses are more uptight, and you'll meet some that are cool with you. Other ones, it's just you may never do anything to these nurses, but they've had bad history with other techs or just with our department in general, so you're already in a bad situation. I don't know. So one of the common things is we have to shove our little board behind the patient, right? So sometimes they have little gray sheets and you can pull them from there. Sometimes they have a little green little sheets you can pull from there. Other times they don't have nothing except a little white thing, like white sheet in their back, and you have to reach all the way back and then kind of take it off. It's like clipped onto the bed and you have to disconnect it. Depending on how or what exams you have going on, sometimes you'll roll or move the patients and it will be very hard to get the sheets out. Or sometimes they have certain rounds and they'll make the patients all neat, comfortable, all the sheets are perfectly fine, and then you just come over here and then get them all unsituated just so you can get your pictures. Especially overnight doing morning ports, we piss off a lot of nurses. We already kind of have a schedule of when we go to do morning ports, so they already kind of know what time we go, so they don't get them all like neat and pretty by the time we go and then just mess them all up. So, like, there was one time a nurse was like, "What time do you come here?" So I don't, get my patient all prepped for shift change, and then you come and mess it up. It happens all the time. Depending on what the patient has going on, you could accidentally place the board behind, and then, because there's a bunch of wires, they may like neatly place the wires and other stuff in certain ways maybe for efficiency for them, and then you come and all these wires are in your way, and then you'll just start moving stuff, and then maybe the machine starts beeping because of the IV or whatever, and that causes problems too. Other times the patient will be fine, and then you come and shove in your board, and then the patient starts coding, and you're like, I didn't do anything, I swear. And then the nurses will be like, X-ray did it, and causes a scene. Other times you just pull up with your portable to the patient's room and they already start beeping and start making noise, and I'll just be looking at the patient and I'm like, "Sir or ma'am, I didn't even touch you yet and you already making all kinds of noises," and then the nurses come. Other times if you move the patient, their bed alarm will go off, and then depending on who the patient you're doing, and if it's that one patient that has fall risk, they'll come down running down and check on you and then almost get a heart attack. There's been many times we've run into that, especially for like KUBs or hips or other stuff we do that causes, issues with the nurses. Let's see what else. Certain nurses, for us to do our exams, we're gonna have to move the patient in certain ways that maybe the patient will start yelling, maybe their leg is broken, and the nurses will come all mad that we're hurting the patient, that why do we do it like this. Some nurses, we explain to them and they're like, cool, understood. And other ones, it's just a battle. I'd rather just do my X-rays when there's no other people around except me and the tech, like another X-ray tech, So we avoid having these problems because there's times where nurses will like you'll adjust or do anything and the patient starts yelling and they'll like, stop it, you can't do like that, da, 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 and they'll give you a whole spiel, and it's a little bit of a headache. Even though at the end of the day we're trying to help people, everyone has their own little job, and then there's there's other nurses that you'll place the board. And then they'll look at the board and they'll be like, are you sure that's right? Maybe you should adjust it. Now, we have one nurse who her husband is an X-ray tech, and she has a little bit of knowledge of the field of radiology, and she's told us stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, look at there. You were right. My bad. And then there's other nurses that they'll tell you stuff. And one time, I literally gave the benefit of the doubt. I was like, you know what? I can't see that side of the board. Maybe you're right. And then I adjusted it, and then I clipped it really bad, and then I'm like, never again will I trust you. So there's headaches you deal with that. Or there's like nurses that will tell you, come on in. You can shoot your X-ray. And then you'll shoot it, and then sometimes you have to do, like let's say it's a foot or a KUB. Sometimes you got to shoot multiple X-rays, right? And it'll be a constant back and forth with the nurses because they'll go start charting or doing whatever, and then you'll shoot it, and then you'll wait for them to step out. And then sometimes it's like a back and forth. Sometimes they get upset because you do it too many times because you're taking too long, or sometimes you're trying to do X-ray and maybe the patient's stats or their vitals aren't doing too good, and they get upset because you're moving them too much. It all depends. Certain nurses are more picky than others. It's just a headache and a battle that will never end. And there's always more nurses than there is X-ray techs. So there's that deal. You'll deal with them a lot. The best case scenario, you just try to get along. Try to have a decent relationship with them so you can just do your job and push your little button and just keep it going. But a lot of the nurses will give you hell over anything because they're stressed about their job or whatever they got going on, and you're like, I'm just here to push the button. Why you pissed off? And it'll be like because they're understaffed, overwork, or they got a lot of stuff going on, and it'll be a headache. Or even if you're like, hey, can you help me do this or do that, and then it's like they'll snap at you because like it's not my job, and and then you're just like, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm not even gonna ask for help unless the nurse offers to help, because I don't want to get into an argument and cause some problems. You'd be surprised. Let's see what else we got. That's all of the ones I can think of on top of my head. Once again, it all depends on where you work and what equipment you got and what situation you're in, the level of traumas, and the nurses. I would say for a fact that night nurses are pretty more chill than daytime nurses. With daytime nurses, there's been more headaches and more problems I've ran into. But, it's a battle that will never end, regardless. But anyways, it's been your boy Miguel. We'll see you in the next one.